Well, from the Styrian Hills to the place that started it all, welcome along to the Silverstone circuit for round 9 of the Breakout Racing League Tier 2 Championship and the British Grand Prix. From the birthplace of Shakespeare, the Beatles, and Formula One, the United Kingdom is a staple to heritage throughout the world. It also does not have a place in the country that is farther than 125 kilometers or 77 miles from the sea. But we will not see the sea. We're here to see, that's a lot of C's, the Tier 2 drivers around one of the most, if not the most, prestigious circuits in the world. Well, from the very first Formula One Grand Prix in 1950, won by the Alfa Romeo of Giuseppe Farina, the Silverstone circuit has held 17, or all but 17, should I rather, of the 70 British Grand Prix, and is considered to be the home of Formula One. 5.891 kilometers, 3.66 miles is the top length for the Silverstone circuit. 18 corners, 10 to the right and 8 to the left, plus the 2 DRS zones at the exit of turn 5 and 14 will provide plenty of overtaking opportunities throughout the 26 laps. And with a top speed of 209 miles per hour, the art of the DRS train will be crucial to manage throughout the Grand Prix. Who can take over the top step in the backyard of Formula One? It's ironic that Farina won in the Alfa Romeo back in 1950 because our championship leader here in Tier 2, Rizzi, has piloted his Alfa Romeo to the lead of the championship by 7 points over the Mercedes of Luis. Luis, however, is not safe as he's under pressure for one of the hottest drivers over the grid in the last couple of weeks, Bobina, and his teammate at McLaren, Zeno, is right behind him. Following him is DXD, unsighted, who was actually the winner last time out in Austria. Sweller, Facetas, and Furcho. And with Killer running out the top 10, the championship fight is kicking off with around 8 laps to go, or 8 rounds to go, should I rather, in the Tier 2 Championship for Season 6. In the Constructors' fight, McLaren still leads Racing Point by 27 points. They lead AlphaTauri, Mercedes, Alfa Romeo, Red Bull, Renault, Williams, Ferrari, and Haas rounds out the championship. Now then, I'm Hank Catcher alongside Tier 3 driver Echo. Now, Echo, obviously you didn't drive around Silverstone last night, but you do possibly have an idea read throughout, I guess, this Grand Prix. What do you think will separate some of the best drivers from the rest here at Silverstone today?
Consistency is going to be key here. We all know British is not known for giving us more fights than we anticipated at first when this Grand Prix first opened up. But consistency is going to be key. Consistency basically in Magnets and Beckett's, who can keep it tight, who can keep it off the grass, who can keep it with each other, not fighting too much, but stay in the slipstream of the car ahead. Because that slipstream is going to count for a lot, especially at the end of the lap and the beginning of the first and second straight. So we're going to have to see how these drivers manage their ERS, DRS, like you said, and manage how they're going to put their lap times together on this track.
Well, we're going through now. Qualifying session is about to be underway with the Racing Point of DXC Ishigo coming through Club now to turn 18 and onto the Lewis Hamilton Straight, as it has now been named, and to start his flying lap with the Alpha Tauri. That is unsighted port, our race winner last time out. He's also on a flying lap right now. The McLaren, I believe that is Zeno Kit. Yes, he is. He has now started his flying lap with the Racing Point teammate of DXC Ishigo. Feta also coming through 18 now, starting his flying lap. That is the Alfa Romeo. That is going to be Rizzi. He's about to start his flying lap and now crosses the line to start it. Or no, I'm sorry, that's Skeppy. So, we'll see some of these drivers who can indeed grab pole position.
I think we already got 2 drivers right next to each other, but they're both on out laps. Who's going to be the furthest? That is Ichigo, and he's already invalidated.
Yes, he invalidated through the exit of turn 7 there onto 8 before Woodcut. So
AlphaTauri just switched.
The AlphaTauri switched.
Yep, they just switched from lead drivers. Swaller just gave some slipstream to unsighted port. Unsighted port is coming through Maggets and Beckett's. It's a good entrance on the last one. Not much of a good exit as he's late on the gas, but he's still able to carry on. We got a yellow flag in the back, people. That is Zeno let by a Racing Point. Yeah, I think he was letting by Feta.
Probably. Going through now into Vale before he goes into the left-right complex of Club. Through the final corner, turn 18.
Oh, we got
he won the race last time out. He's now on provisional pole at 24.560 for the AlphaTauri. The next one after him is probably going to be the Racing Point of Feta, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, because Ichigo invalidated. He's going to be starting this lap now. Feta crosses the line. He's going to go right behind the unsighted port of AlphaTauri, and he's going to go with a 25-2. on medium compound tires. Not bad, but not quite.
Well, Bobina, like I said, he's one of the hottest drivers in Tier 2 at the moment of the last 3 races, and that proves the point. 24.4, that's provisional pole for the McLaren, as Zeno put a banker lap in after making a mistake. He goes with a 44.8 for P4 at the moment. That's provisionally, though. That is going to be the Mercedes of Junior. He's going to start, actually, no, he's going to complete his flying lap with a 24.8, puts him up to P3 at the moment, ahead of Feta, and P4 in the medium. We have a couple drivers new to Tier 2, one of those being the Haas of Drunken Shamrock, right now on his flying lap going through Woodcut now, going on the run down to Cops. Another driver who is also new to Tier 2 is Zenav in the Red Bull, going through into Vale, now going to the right-hander into Club, around through 17, now into 18, and actually left the session. That's unfortunate.
That's not good. Hold on.
Ritzy, provisional pole, 24.377. They keep stacking it up. The times are amplifying here. Well, DXD should go. He's now going to see if he can try to put his hat in the ring. Let's see what he can do. A 24.3 is the guy to beat provisionally. Can he get his racing point back in front and on provisional pole? No, he can't. 24.677, almost 3/10 exactly, going through on the the Alfa Romeo. Drunken Shamrock goes up to P8 in the Haas, 25.756. Geppy is now going out of the pit lane once more. That is going to be the McLaren, I believe, of Zeno. Actually, he does improve. A 24.903 for McLaren puts him P7 provisionally. Killer actually goes on to P9, a 25.4 in the medium compounded tire. He's about 2/10 or so behind the racing point of Feta.
And Vircho, he's going to jump up to P2 with a 24.4. That's a really good, solid lap from the Red Bull driver. We're trying to get Zenav back in here.
Obviously, he has a new teammate in Zenav, so let's see how these Red Bull drivers perform. That's going to be Killer going through Stowe now in the run of the Vale. He's invalidated, so he's going to go into the pit lane. That's probably going to be, I think this is going to be Sonic going through into Vale now. No, it's not. It's going to be Ritzy, I believe. He's actually gone into the pit lane, so it doesn't matter regardless. That's going to be a yellow flag through into Chapel, down to the Hangar Straight. I believe that is going to be a racing point. Maybe DXD. Yes, it is, giving a possibility of stream to his teammate Feta. Feta does look like he's still on a push on the medium. He's done a 25.2. Is it going to be improved? Yes, he is going to try to go for a final push lap. Going into Vale, into 16. A little bit of lock up in the left front tire into 17. And through Club, now going on to the front straight once more. He's P8 at the front. He needs about 3/10 to get ahead of Zeno. He gets ahead of Zeno. That is a 24.898 on those medium compounded tire.
I don't know if you want to start on mediums here.
Well, regardless, it's going to be a one-stop if you can go from a medium to a soft or a soft to a medium, but the hards are also a good race tire around the Silverstone circuit. They can last predominantly longer, obviously, because of the nature of the hard compound tire. They are slower, but they are less durable. So, or I'm sorry, more durable. So they can take the into the stint longer and possibly run faster, more consistent times compared to the drop-off of the mediums. We'll see how the drivers play it out through here today in the Silverstone Grand Prix.
You know, I kind of this is off topic, but I kind of miss the days of super sauce, ultra sauce, and hyper sauce for F1. I think it was 2017 when they did that.
2018 was the final year in which they did that. Going through to Sonic, that is going to be a spin for the Ferrari through Cops. Gathers it up, though, and keeps it going out of the way of the Alfa Romeo. I believe it's going to be Skeppy. Yes, it is. Going through now into Mackett's and Beckett's. Through turn 11 into 12. Now into Beckett's. Now going through 13 into Chapel. Down to the straight with, or I'm sorry, the Hangar Straight with the DRS for the Alfa Romeo. His teammate is on provisional pole in Ritzy. I mean, obviously, Skeppy's not had the best of Grand Prix as of late. He needs a rebound. And Silverstone get it, and that's invalidated. Let's go through to Zonic. He's going to try to go for another push. Going through Vale, going to back off a bit. He had that spin through Cops. Let's see if he can recover, get his tires back to temperature. And going through turn 18, he will try again for the Ferrari.
Skeppy, I don't think he was going to be able to go for another lap because he was already down on fuel, so... Yeah, I would love to see Skeppy get some points, man.
I believe that is going to be Facetas going through Stowe now. Yes, it is on the in the Williams. He's on the medium. He's going to try for a flying lap there. He's going to be trying to be targeting the racing point of of Feta. A 24.8 is what is provisionally set as the fastest medium compound time. We'll see what they can do. Both AlphaTauris are back out once more. That is going to be unsighted in the AlphaTauri. He's P4 provisionally. Zeno has left the session. Oh, an unsighted is spun through Abby on the exit. Keeps it out of the barriers, into the gravel, and we'll have to try again.
Inviting Zeno back.
Luckily, he keeps it out of the barrier, so no damage done, but there is going to be a little bit of wear to his soft compound of tire to possibly be done to his qualifying lap, if possible. His teammate, though, Sweller, going through the AlphaTauri now into turn 7 through LaFille. Now into the run down to Woodcut for turn 8. Let's see what the AlphaTauri can do. His teammate almost a P4 at the moment, a 24.5 for him. The winner last time out in the Austrian Grand Prix. What can his teammate... Oh, his teammate does a spin like Tazonic does. And through cops, he keeps it out of the barriers as well. So both AlphaTauris in a span of 9 corners, both have looped it around.
That is a dangerous corner. If you don't get a good interest on, you will clip the tire onto the excess grass right there. I don't know why they put grass there, but it's there. But yeah, you're going to clip that tire onto that excess part of the track, and you're just going to lose the car. It is not where you want to be. And Facetas goes around with medium compound tires. He gets a 25.3, ends up in P10. So a good little lap by Facetas, but I think he wants to be in P11 if you want to start on mediums.
Or even in the top 10, indeed. We tried it once again. Now we'll try again. Zenav is now on his flying lap for the Red Bull. He was also close to getting his flying lap completed last time, but disconnected from the session going through Club. So now he's going to try again and re-rack and take his Red Bull up through qualifying. I believe that's going to be the Mercedes behind him of Ginger. Is that a little bit too close, I would reckon?
And that does look a little bit too close, getting the slipstream off of Zenav, but I'm going to say this now. Looking at Zenav and the way he's going around these corners with his car, he looks really in control of that Red Bull.
Well, speaking of a Red Bull being in control, Furcho goes for original pole, a 24.1. That is ironic indeed.
I did invite Zeno. I don't know what happened to him.
Did you?
Let me try again.
Well, right now he's P8, so we'll see if he can get that sorted out. Obviously, connection being a little bit of an issue going through qualifying so far. We have 5 minutes left to go. Still enough time for drivers to get laps in. That's going to be Facetas going through into the pit lane. Zeno is now back in, so we're all good with that. Ginger going through the hangar straight, going up to the Stowe. In front of him, you can see the Red Bull of Zenav. Both these drivers are going to try to get their fast laps in. They're having about, once they get in, they have about a minute or so to get a final run in. It's going to be close between these two.
Looks like it's going to be a race right here. A race right here between Smoking Ginger and Zenav. Zenav is the first one to cross the line. He's going to go up to P5, and Smoking Ginger is going to improve his time and go up into P4 with 2-lap used sauce.
Well, both of those drivers got onto the 24.5s, so a great little lap for both of them now into P4 and P6 respectively. And the driver left to set a time who has not previously is the Alfa Romeo Scabbie. He's going through Stowe now in the run to Vale into turn 16, now into 17. The right can be difficult for traction. Gets some power down nice and easy through 18 through Club and across the line for that's going to be P.
There you go, Skeppy! Skeppy with a 25.2. Love it. He's right up there with everybody else. But I ain't gonna lie, Smoking Ginger kind of had help from that slipstream from Zenav. I kind of think he did.
I think he may have been on the cutoff where it could be close enough to get the benefits of the slipstream and also maybe on the edge of possibly grabbing a little bit of dirty air from the Red Bull driver as well. So the only drivers on track right now is going to be Zenav going to the pit lane, Ginger also going to the pit lane. Killer is on a flying lap.
We got yellow.
That is a yellow flag. I believe that is going to be Ginger out of gas. But we have the Renault. I believe that is going to be Killer. He's going to do it on his out lap at the moment. He's P13.
Oh, and Killer's gone. Okay.
That is the second driver I've cut to, who's then disconnected. So
I say third driver because fucking Zenav had disconnected right at the final corner. Zeno has disconnected going onto his lap, and Killer is now disconnected going onto, finishing his lap. So that's 3 drivers that have connected on the hot lap.
Wait a minute. I don't think this may actually hurt Furcho a bit here. Because Red Bull is having to wheel their teammate of Zanav back into the garage, and is having to hold Virtual up a little bit. He may not have enough time to get a little bit of comfortable margin as he wanted. Killer is now back, but unfortunately that's going to be him out of the qualifying order. Because I mean,
are you sure about that?
I mean, it's 2 minutes and 22 seconds. He needs to go out now, so he's not going to have enough time. Speaking of going out now, Furcho goes out, Ritzy goes out. That is going to be the racing point. I believe that is going to be Feta. Yes, he is. He's gone out. As well
and
as the
Bobina
and Zeno.
All these guys are going out right now. Is Killer going to go out? It does sound like he's revving up that Renault engine. I can hear revving up.
Going through, I believe that is Tazonic starting a flying lap. Yes, he is in the Ferrari P11 at the moment for him in Scuderia, a 25.294. He needs about 33 100ths of a second to get into P10 ahead of Skeppy. But he's going to aim for a little bit more than that. There's a gap between P9 and P10, about 3/10 per second more or less. And Killer, like I said, is out of the qualifying order for today. Chance for pole. So P13 is the max he could do. And Shamrock is still in the pit, so he's also out of qualifying as well. Sweller is on an out lap, so we'll see what he can improve to.
You know, honestly, I kind of expected somebody to hit a 23, but 24 is all around for the top 9.
Still no. There's still time.
I can see Furcho or Ritzy. Furcho or Ritzy gonna hit it.
Are they?
That's my prediction.
All right, let's go with that. Prediction for pole. Echo says it's gonna be Ritzy or
I said Furcho or Ritzy. Who's gonna hit it? 23.
Now, tell us in the comment section of the chat here, who do you think will be on pole for round 9 of the Tier 2 BRL Championship here at the British Grand Prix?
This man had a whole monotone voice at ending that sentence.
Yeah, I really did. Oh, that is Sonic. He is out of qualifying as well. He
on the front straight, on the Hamilton straight, actually.
Yes, actually, he did improve. He got to P10, then got knocked down. So that is going to be Facetas, I believe, up into P8. Yes, it is. So Fata going through Cop. It could be a difficult corner so far. He's going to be the first one to cross the line to improve his time. So let's keep an eye on that. Behind him is going to be the Haas of Shamrock, who actually did make it out of the pits, but I don't think he's going to have enough time. Nope. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Checkered flag. Laps need to be done now. Skeppy didn't make it to the flag. Shamrock didn't make it to the flag. Sweller did by a little bit of a margin. Let's go up to P9 for Feta in the racing point. He's at 24.898. He needs a good showing. He didn't have that good of a showing. He was on the front row a week ago. Can he make it a front row again? 2 weeks in a row. Feta goes across the line. P2. He does go to the front row. There's going to be a McLaren behind him. Is that going to be Bobina or Zeno? It's going to be Zeno. Get to him fast enough.
Zeno moves over to P8, getting the purple third sector though. Ichigo has invalidated, so he is done. Ritzy goes up to pole position with a
1 millisecond.
1 millisecond between the two. And Furcho pits.
Ginger goes across. He's missed the flag as well. Going across.
Bobina
on pole, 23.9.
Wow, Bobina goes up to 23.9. Congrats, Bobina.
That is Facetas in the box. Now the only one left on track is Sweller going through 17 and 18. Can he possibly grab Alpha Tauri? A pole? Not quite. P5.
Still
Bobina is on pole for the British Grand Prix.
I think that might be done for qualifying.
I believe so, because I don't think Skeppy or Shamrock made it to the flag. If they did, I mean, they're still pushing, so maybe there is a chance.
How is Skeppy able to push?
I don't know. But we'll go for it. Through Stowe for the final time for Shamrock. He needs to get a 23.980 or better to get ahead of Bobina on provisional pole. This is his debut race in Tier 2 of Breakout Racing League. Can it be a debut pole? No, it can't. P12 ahead of Sazonic. Skeppy, though, he's going to be the last one on the grid to go and set a time. Going through Maggots and Beckett's, a little bit of a mistake going through into turn 13, now into 14. Into Chapel, down the hanger straight with the DRS. He's not going to have the slipstream of the car in front. I believe that's going to be the Alpha Tauri of Unsighted, if I'm wrong there. Going through Stowe for the final time. This is the final car to qualify right now. Bobina is on pole. Will it stand? Oh, that's going to be Zeno. That's going to hamper his lap. Oh,
Zeno!
no.
Zeno's AI
Couldn't do
hampered
anything about
Skeppy's
that.
chances.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Skeppy just cannot catch a break. Well, unfortunately, with that bombshell, that will conclude qualifying for Tier 2 here at Britain for Round 9 of the Breakout Racing League Tier 2 Championship here in Season 6. Bobina in the McLaren, like I said at the top of the show, he has been the hottest driver in the past couple of weeks. 2 straight podiums at Austria and the one before it at Canada. Now he's on pole for the British Grand Prix by about 2 plus or minus 2/10 or so, with Ritzy P2, Fercho P3, Feta P4, Sweller P5 in the Alpha Tauri. Well, it's already been exciting. It's not even qualifying over yet.
Skeppy would have been the 24.5, so he would have been up into P9 or 10. Well,
Wow.
P8, 9 or 10. He was 7
It's
tenths
really
up.
unfortunate. That's so unfortunate for him, but unfortunately, Zeno couldn't do anything about that. The game took control of his car. Like I said, Bobina is on the front row and on pole position for the first time in Tier 2 in Season 6. That is the second McLaren. Both McLarens now have podiums, and poles, in Tier 2. Ritzy P2, the championship leader. Fercho P3, Feta P4. He starts in the second row. He started for the first row last week. Sweller, and then Zenav in P6 on the third row for his debut. We'll see what he can do. Unsighted P6, or P7, Ginger P8, Zeno P9, DXD rounds out the top 10. Fasadis P11, Shamrock P12 on his debut. Tazonic P13, Skeppy P14, P15, and 16. Couldn't count. 15.
Did your best.
That was close enough, Hutch. It's a little dark. I thought it was going to rain for a second.
Ooh, that would be nice if we could get some rain in Silverstone. People love the rain in Silverstone for some odd reason. I don't know why.
Can confirm that is a myth. Realistic was not enjoyable. We had
Well,
the
Tier
entire
3 was
weekend
loving
of
it.
Wet, so.
Tier 3 was loving
Tier
it.
3 also is a different breed. They're quick, consistent, and somehow they like the wet at the most random places. But I don't know, Silverstone is a cool track to have a little bit of weather. It's not odd to have weather at Silverstone. So maybe we may have a little bit of a Silverstone-affected, or a weather-affected Silverstone Grand Prix here. Fasadis right now has Bolton on the medium, Kazanic on the medium, and Killer on the medium as well. All three of those drivers, obviously outside of the top 10, they get a free choice tire ahead of the Grand Prix. 26 laps. It's going to be an easy one stop, regardless if you go from the medium to the hard, medium to soft, or soft to medium, or soft to hard. Everyone outside the top 10 has actually gone on to the medium compounded tire, and that is the tires they go through.
Stig, I don't think Skeppy would do that, because even if he does, we can't do nothing about that.
No. Zeno could not control his car. That would be an unfair penalty. And Skeppy's already been disqualified along with Shamrock. That's unfortunate. So Skeppy's day has already gone from bad to worse, and he hasn't even gotten off the grid. So Bobina, like we said, is your pole sitter for the first time this season. Ritzy, the championship leader, leads by 7 points. He has his championship rival, Luis, is not attending today, so this is a good chance for Ritzy to extend his championship lead over the Mercedes of Luis. Fercho P3, a pretty good showing for the Red Bull here today. The entire Red Bull team, both in the top 6. Feta P4, he started on the front row a week ago. He starts from P4. He needs a good rebound race. He had a couple mistakes and a couple spins that ended his race prematurely. Sweller P5, his teammate Unsighted, who's in P7, got the win last week. Sweller wants to probably go and match him today here in Britain. Zenav, like I said, is the debutee for Red Bull. P6 can he do anything special on his Breakout Racing League Tier 2 debut? Unsighted was a race winner from a week ago. Ginger is still waiting on a good finish. He has P8 starting grid. A pole position a week ago from the McLaren of Zeno has now put him P9. It was from one McLaren last week to the other one this week. Zeno starts P9. He's going to have a lot of work to do. DXD had a good race a week ago. He starts from P10. He wants to try to go and recuperate that. and try to get another good finish here at Silverstone. Vasadis, he starts out at the top 10. He's going to be the first one on those medium compound tires. What can the Williams do to go and try and attack those guys on the softs ahead of him? Shamrock also is on his debut, like in Zanav's case, but we'll see what he can do. He's always going to have disqualified from the formation lap. He's going to have cold tires and a little bit of more difficulty than the rest of the medium runners. Tazanic, he's going to try to see if he can do anything from his 13th grid position on the medium compounded tire as well. Skeppy did not have a good qualifying due to the unfortunate circumstance of the AI into the Vale corner. He will have cold tires in the mediums from 14th. And Killer in the Renault on the mediums in 15th will come across. Unfortunately, this connection did not hamper his, or did not allow him to get a good lap in qualifying at the latter stages. He's pulled up into his 15th position grid slot. And now we head to the 5 red lights for the Breakout Racing League Tier 2 Championship here at Britain. As lights out, and away we don't go. This is the second week in a row this has happened. Now we go. The lights are now on, but not for us, but for the drivers. They're on, and they're away. Here we are at Britain. It's a great, intensive start for a couple drivers in the back. That is going to be Bobina well ahead of Ritzy, ahead of Furcho, ahead of Sweller, ahead of, that is going to be the Racing Point of Feta. That is going to be the Mercedes of Ginger going a little bit wide. Feta's going to try to go attack Sweller. Sweller's going to fight back at him. A little bit deep, though, into turn 4 and 5 for the McLaren. That's a little bit of contact between the drivers in the back. DXD has a little bit of contact, He's been spun around, actually, DXD has, through turn, 5, going through into Village. But look at front, though. Look at Ritzy and Bobina going down into into Brooklands, now into Luffield, and that's going to be around the outside. The Alfa Romeo is actually going to go up into P1 and clear the McLaren of Bobina going into Brooklyn. Good.
You had it right the first time,
you know
right?
What? Just shush. No, I was right. I was right the second time. I just made a mistake. Zonic and Shamrock battle for P11 and 12. Zonic gets ahead of him. Fasadis up into P10. Not a good start for DXD in the Racing Point.
Yeah, fortunately, DXD had a little bit of contact with somebody else, but he's not too far back. He's able to keep up. A little bit.
Sorry to cut in here. Furcho's actually gone around the outside, and so has Feta on Bobina. Bobina has actually lost a couple positions going through Chapel down the Hangar Straight, and now is into P4. He's on the back's foot. He's going to try to go attack Feta. Feta's looking down the inside, cannot get around Furcho. The last time Feta and Furcho were this close on the track, well, Feta actually retired from the race. We'll see the last time. Hopefully this doesn't happen again. Ritzy leads lap 1 from Furcho, from Feta, from Bobina, from Sweller, from Zanav, from Unsighted, from Zena, who's actually gone up a position. Fasadis has gone up a couple, and into P9. Ginger's gone down a couple. Sazonic up a couple. Shamrock to P12. Skeppy up 1. Killer up 1. And DXD, who's been spun round, is in P15.
Stupid engine glitches are happening everywhere, and Feta is making a move on Virtual, going down the inside. He's moving up into P2, getting the overtake done on TRT Virtual. They both go wide, but is able to keep the line still as Feta is able to clear Virtual and get out the way. So for one Racing Points incident to another Racing Points gain, he is now up into P2. Good job, Feta.
Well, don't look now. Furcho may not be safe again. Bobina's on the charge, but he also has to look behind. Sweller's not too far away from him. Sweller also has the Alpha Tower of Unsighted behind him, the Unsighted machine. That could also work, but you know what, we're going to work past that. Sweller is going to try to look for a better exit, and Bobina cannot get it. Zanav is going to try to go for a better exit on the Alpha Tower, and it's going to be a stalemate. And welcome to the DRS Train Grand Prix here at Britain going into So.
DRS Train Grand Prix, huh?
Yep, that's what Chandler calls it, and I'm putting that as my motto.
I actually kind of didn't expect this at first, but hey, these guys are actually making it a
little bit of contact through, and it's already cut you off. That's going to be Unsighted trying to go down the inside of Vale on Zanav and could not make it work, trying to go into Club and try to go down the outside, a little bit of contact, and still holds the position, goes the Red Bull driver. But look at this. Zeno's going to try to make for a move. He looks for the inside, cannot get it done. Unsighted keeps P7, trying to go attack the Red Bull of Zanav. If he's not careful, he needs to look behind more than front. And now the DRS is activated, the drag correction system. If you're within a second of the car in front, the little flap in the rear wing will open, giving you a little bit more straight line speed and less drag as you go down to the straightaways here at Britain. There's 2 of them, at the exit of turn 5 and the exit of turn, what is that, 14, going through Chapel onto the Hangar Straight. So a lot of drivers will make use of that DRS going through here today for the 26 laps of the British Grand Prix. Echo, you're killing me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm just doing something in the background while you're talking. Yeah. Anyway. So, like you said, DRS training is happening. Nothing's much happening at all. I thought more incidents would be going on. Wait, whoa. We got somebody on the back of somebody. We got a nav up in the P6 and unsighted port is not going to give him any room. Oh, he's in the AlphaTauri sandwich, actually.
Yes, he is.
Hmm.
It's a
Junior
Honda
team
train
surrounding
sandwich.
the
But actually, wait a minute. I just realized the even more broader sandwich. It is a McLaren sandwich with with a Honda-powered filling.
Right. Right. But yo, look at Ichigo. He is caught almost back up to the whole group. He went from 5 seconds down to 2 seconds down. From Drunken Shamrock.
His charge. Obviously, he's been spun round through at turn 4 from the loop, and he's trying to fight his way back. Speller cannot make any more overtakes, but look at this, though. Zanav, a little bit of contact. That's front wing damage, I think, from unsighted port going through our Austrian Grand Prix race winner. Yes, it is.
That
he
is
has
indeed.
no right side end plate.
Unsighted port made a risky overtake, but he paid the price for it as well. Zanav, not really expecting it much, but he caused a little bit of damage. We might see that in stewards, we might not, but the two Honda Power engine cars are really coming together, being feisty with each other.
And that is our first time penalty of the day. Shamrock grabs a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings that will be applied at the end of his race time. That involves exceeding track limits and cutting corners. But look at this. Zanav's not done yet. He's on the back of Unsighted with the DRS. Unsighted also has the DRS of the car in front, his being his teammate and Sweller. He cannot make the move now. Zanav can through Stowe. He's going to try to look through Vale, but it will be a little bit too far back. But as you look up front, Furcho's actually a little bit of gapped. Actually has been gapped by Feta in the Racing Point, as Racing Point's Feta Cheese grabs the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, chasing down Ritzy in P1.
This is basically a redemption race for Feta, because right now he's looking really good and he's really being solid along with these other drivers around him. So, yeah, basically a redemption race for him. And Ritzy getting into P1. Could this finally be the race he actually wins?
Yep, that is something that we've been talked about through the podium interviews almost every time he's on the podium. He's been close numerous times and has not grabbed that win. He was close in Bahrain and had it stripped from him after a 5-second time penalty of Sync Kizuato, who drove the Red Bull, ironically, as we're on board with First Show, was removed from an unfair serving of the penalty. So it was given back to Sync Kizuato, and Ritzy was neglected to P2. Ever since then, Ritzy has not stood higher than P2 on the podium. Could this be the day he does?
He actually almost had a chance also in the Netherlands when he went on to the bizarre strategy to go back on the mediums when the safety car came out. And took 3 laps. He was like, I think it was really close between him and P1, which was Luis, who has been dominating every race that he has joined. So, could this finally be the race that Ritzy breaks that streak? That he does not
look
get
at this.
P1 taken from him?
Mercedes and Unsighted has already cut you off through Stowe. Unsighted poked his nose in. Oh, contact and spun round goes to Williams and Mercedes. Just wasn't enough room given by Unsighted.
We got side by side.
Vale.
We got side by Sketchy and Killer. That's a Sketchy. Skeppy moves up into P11. Well, there was a sketchy side by side going right there, but still, Skeppy is able to make it done and get up to P11.
Well, take notice of this, because Unsighted had a couple of... Oh, Echo?
I just got you must sign into Xbox Live.
Okay, well, that's not good at all.
I just got signed up into Xbox Live. What
Oh, that's
is
a yellow flag, and that is Killer around. Not sure if he has any damage, but he spun off at the exit of turn 5 onto the Wellington Straight. Looks like the Renault does not have any front wing damage, but he has a little bit more time to make up to go catch Facetus. But as I was going to say before you got disconnected from the session, is Unsighted actually was P6, but then got overtaken by Zanath and then Zeno and almost Facetus in 2 corners, as Feta is close enough to Ritzy to possibly think of some overtakes in the coming laps. Skeppy's been given a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings and exceeding track limits. That will be applied to the end of his race time. So 2.5 seconds, the gap between Feta and Furcho. Feta does not need to look behind in his gap in his race.
Failed to join.
For Romeo of Ritzy. I'll try again. You should be able to join off of me. this invite doesn't work. As Unsighted Port pitting in the Alpha Tauri for some front wing damage repairment, I'm guessing, going through. It's a slow pit lane here in Silverstone, 37 miles an hour, as you see 36 actually for the Alpha Tauri, so it looks like there may be a little bit more of an issue happening. Is that a puncture? I swear I just saw something. Anyway, on to the mediums for Unsighted. He's going to be the first one into the box. That is going to be actually a little bit of a move between Skeppy and Zonic. Skeppy gets past Zonic, and the Alfa Romeo goes up into P9.
Skeppy's making his way through the field. He is doing the best he can to make the best out of those mediums while everybody on softs around him starting to fall off of those soft compound tires. Can Skeppy be the medium driver of the day and move up as much as he can, as quick as he can, while he has the gap? He has the tire wear. He has the compound tire, the best suited for Britain right now.
At the moment, we could start seeing pit stops flourish around the window of lap 8 to lap 10 is where you probably see a lot of drivers on the soft compound tire dive into the pit lane for 37 miles an hour, that speed limit, to put on a set of mediums. As no one is actually chosen for the hard compound tire, it's still possible for a driver to put on the hards. So we'll see as it comes through lap 7 now goes into lap 8, as Zenev is actually into the pits for the Red Bull, seeing if he can put on those set of medium compounded tire.
Also, the gap and pit strategy does mean a lot when it comes to Silverstone. Just because that pit area is going to be 37 miles per hour, it can make or break your race because of how slow that pit entrance and pit exit is. So, strategy and gap to the car behind will play a part in this race.
Well, the big thing is it's probably one of the, if not the longest pit lane length across the Formula 1 calendar, and obviously it has one of, if not the slowest, pit lane speed limiters. So, with that being said, it almost has a 30-second time loss, around 28 to 27 seconds. So, keep in mind that if you do pit, you're going to lose a lot of time. As Feta has actually lost a little bit of time through Woodcut and Brooklands, and now he's 6/10 behind the race leader, Rinzi Raccoon.
I still have yet to be able to get back into the race. Doing my best to try to stay commentating while doing this.
Oh, you're doing a pretty good job. That is, looks like Skeppy and Zonic were actually going side by side. Skeppy goes a little bit of a mistake through into Chapel, but he has the DRS of the car in front of Smoky Ginger, so he's going to keep his position in P8 at the moment. Zonic P9, and DXD has actually moved himself back up into the top 10. And Unsighted Port is going to get a 3-second time penalty, so that's not going to help his case at all. He's 10 seconds behind Zenev in the Red Bull for P14. That is going to be the gap that he needs to manage the entire race of the Alpha Tauri in front, just in case of a stewards inquiry coming his way. No more people have dived into the pit lane, so we could possibly see more drivers.
Yes.
There you go. Coming through in the coming stages. Lap 9 is a perfect chance for the undercut. The undercut is stronger than anything else you could possibly have here in Britain. And if you're not aware for what the undercut means, terminology in Formula 1 racing terms is when you pit in front or pit earlier than the car you are racing in order to use the fresh tires to your advantage and get a faster out lap and go and try to overtake them as they have the worn tires on an end lap trying to go and cover you off. But it's usually, or actually sometimes it's not effective, so it's just really depending on the driver. Some may be better at out laps than in laps, or vice versa. We'll have to keep that in mind as we go through the Grand Prix.
Yeah, different drivers have different preferences, and some drivers love when their tires are worn down. They find some kind of way to get more grip, more pace out of worn tire than fresher ones. And some drivers are just so quick on the fresher tires and just lose gap and time when those tires start degrading after running a certain amount of laps on them.
Well, looking through the gap here, it's actually gone down a tad bit. That's Skeppy and Ginger. They made a little bit of a scrap through into Stowe. Ginger goes back to P8 on the softs. The softs are starting to die off, and he will actually take to the safety of the pit lane. And that is a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane for the McLaren of Zeno.
Zeno, that is not what he needs right now, especially going up from the softs onto the hards, I believe. Softs or mediums, what do you? Whatever one.
The mediums. It is a medium compound for the McLaren pit crew and medium for the Mercedes pit crew as well. Both drivers bolting on the mediums. That is also going to be DXD Ishigo and the Racing Point going into the pit lane as well. Is that going to be a medium for him? Yes, it is. The pink Mercedes goes into the pink pit lane. What?
Oh no, he still has that 5 second. I was about to say, excuse me, did he already serve it?
What, did he have a 4 pit stop?
Huh?
Did he have a 4 pit stop?
No, he had an amazing pit stop actually.
Why did you think you already served it? What, did you just not
Because,
see it?
yeah, because I did not see it at all. I didn't see it on him.
Well, I spoke of the undercut and how powerful it is. Zanav has actually jumped. The McLaren of Zeno and Ginger actually stayed in front of Ginger as well. I'm not sure if he was actually behind or in front of Zeno. I'm pretty sure he was in front because it was a
Zanav,
sandwich I spoke about.
yeah, he was in front of Zeno.
So he stayed ahead, about 1.3 seconds is the gap. So he's actually gained a tad bit. And Sight has gotten past DXD for the battle for 14th, going into
We got a spinner.
Brooklyn's here.
It's Mercedes.
Ooh.
He spun at maggots.
No front wing damage for the Williams, but that's not going to help his.
And he
he
spins and crops. Oh my god.
That would have been
disastrous.
sure a retirement if he was not able to save that, but luckily he was in the Williams. But his medium compounded tire is going to be a little bit degraded here as Sweller dives into pit box. Bobina, Fercho, Ritzy all dive down to the safety of the pit lane, meaning the only driver staying out is going to be the Racing Point of Feta.
And Scappy getting the medium compound tires. Can he make them stick? He looks a little bit slow right now, but he's slowly getting into the groove of those medium compound tires. So Scappy is moving up into P2. Tizonic behind him on mediums as well. P3, Drunken Shamrock is showing us what he can do in P4 right now. So good stuff by Shamrock.
Well, I talked about the undercut, and you know how I was a little bit of mistaken on the thing with Zeno? Well, now let's look at the grid. Zanav's actually moved up to P2 ahead of his teammate in Fercho, but he's not the only one that's jumped his teammate. Zeno has actually got ahead of his teammate Bobina as they fight for the battles of the top 5 and the podium positions here. So it's going to be this DRS train, 2 Red Bulls, 2 McLarens, then you have the AlphaTauri of Sweller, and a little bit back to the Mercedes of Ginger, and then
Unsighted Port.
And DXD.
Unsighted Port is not too far back from his teammate. And DXD Ichigo, yes, he's in the back. And Unsighted Port almost loses the car. Woo. A little bit of a sketchy exit, but he's able to keep the car on track. Good stuff by Unsighted Port.
A little bit off the track. That may have been a warning for the AlphaTauri of Unsighted, so keep that in mind as going through. Maggots has actually gone into the box, put it on the medium compounded tire for his race. Can he actually get in front? Here he goes through. And it's going to be close between these guys. Where will he come out in relegation to the Alfa Romeo of Ritzy? He's going through, crossing the straight line. Here we go. It's going to be close between these two.
He's gonna get jumped by Ritzy, but he's gonna jump
it.
to Nav. He's gonna jump to Nav, but he's gonna get caught by Ritzy. So the
Actually,
undercut
that
has
gap
worked.
is pretty much the same.
Yep, it has worked. Not bad by the Racing Point to keep him right there with Ritzy. But what I'm worrying about is how is Skeppy and Tizana going to make this work? They're both on mediums, yes, but they're far away from the pack.
That is true. So right now, so Skeppy, Tizonic, Shamrock, Killer, and Facetus all have yet to come into the box. They've obviously had 11 laps on their mediums. They started outside the top 10. They are the oldest tires on the grid right now. So we'll see how they can do their. Is it going to be a medium to soft strategy, or are they going to try to gamble and see if the medium to hard could possibly work out? It's going to be slower, but you never know with these drivers with their strategies and their predictions going into the Grand Prix. A 10th between these two. That's going to be Killer and Shamrock battling for third right now. The provisional podium positions with still about 14 laps to go. Facetas has actually gotten passed by Feta and the Alfa Romeo of Ritzy as well. So that's going to put him a little bit of a buffer at P7 ahead between Feta and Zanav in P8.
We got a little bit of a fight between Killer and Shamrock, but Killer was able to dispose of Shamrock real quick. These top 4 has still yet to stop, and Facetas is going to be the 5th of that group that has yet to stop. But Facetas is already falling back into the group that's already had their pit stop. So this race is not really looking good for Facetas right now.
Well, let's see how it works here for the tire wear wise, because obviously these guys will go on to the softs at the end of the Grand Prix. That's what I'm predicting. But it's also going to be a matter of tire wear and the medium brigade as well. Zanav and his teammate have a 3-lap difference on their tires. As look how close these two are with the McLarens behind them. This is a great shot if you were a PR team for either Red Bull or for McLaren to get these two drivers this close to each other. And then Zeno right on the back on the rear wing of first show, and Bobina not too far off of him.
Yeah, I'm really loving how the Red Bull and the McLarens are staying with each other.
That is not good. Once again, that is going to be another time penalty for Zeno. His total is at 11 seconds. He's going to be the most on the grid.
Bobina, team orders. Team orders.
Oh, is it going to be team orders?
Red Bull and McLaren going side by side with each other. First show and Zanav has switched, and Bobina and Zeno has switched.
So look at that. Synchronized switching between the teammates. So we'll see.
I bet Sweller is looking like, oh, where's my teammate right now? We can get into this. I bet he's like,
well,
where's my teammate?
To answer that question, let's go look at the gap from leader. The gap between Sweller and Insider is about around 9.2 or so seconds. So obviously Insider with that wing damage and that front wing change was just so unfortunate between him and his race. So Sweller is going to be a little bit alone in this fight between both McLarens and both Red Bulls.
And Ichigo is doing as much as he can. Everyone up ahead of him has done their first stop, so Ichigo needs to do as much as he can to get out of P15 up into the points. But I don't think he's going to be able to do that with the McLarens and Red Bulls just being careful and still fighting with each other as clean as they are.
Well, another thing that could also dictate the finishing order of this Grand Prix is the amount of penalties a driver has. As we said, that 11 seconds is going to be applied to Xenokid's race time if he does not serve that 5 seconds in the pits. So even if he does serve that in the pits, that's still 6 seconds compared to everyone else's 3 that has a time penalty at the moment. So let's go look at these two right now. Feta and Ritzy, those two are obviously provisional 1-2, trying to chase down Killer and Shamrock, who actually Killer dives into the pit lane and be the first one on those mediums to go into the pits. So what tire will he go through? There's about 11 laps to go. Will he try to gamble and put the soft compound tires on in the Renault camp?
Now that I think about it, thank you for pointing that out, TK14. Scabby has been putting on a gap to Tezonic. He's now up for 5.4 seconds ahead of P2. And how far is he from the first person that stopped? Hold on.
The gap between
14.8
and Skeppy is 14.8 seconds.
If Skeppy pits right now, he will still be in the top 10. But
well,
on
it's
fresh
about a
sauce.
28. Actually, I don't think he will be in the top 10.
You sure?
It's about a 27-28 second pit stop due to the 37 miles an hour and the length of the pit lane.
So basically just outside.
Ginger.
So just outside of top 10.
Yeah, it'll put him around 6 seconds adrift from Sweller and around, if not on top of Ginger as he goes out of the pit lane. So we'll see what the Alfa Romeo does. He's actually not lost much time. He actually does go into the pit lane. So he's going to try to go for his final do not speed. He doesn't speed, gets it down to 37 miles an hour and into the pit lane. Tezonic also goes in, don't speed. He also doesn't get it in, or he also does get it in, and he will go
Shamrock will be following right behind him.
So that will relegate Ritzy to P1 of the Grand Prix once more. Feta right behind him, not too far adrift.
Mercedes as well.
Half a second.
Mercedes as well is diving into the pit.
All the medium runners are actually now into the pit. So everyone who has stopped, actually everyone will. Wait, let me.
Skeppy's coming out.
Two and two together here.
Ooh, it's gonna be close. It's gonna be close.
It'll actually put him P9.
P9, right behind Ginger.
Yeah, what I thought. So it's about a 28.5 second pit stop.
I thought it was gonna be like a Hamilton-Vettel kind of close Silverstone.
Well, it may still be. Obviously, Skeppy has those soft compound tires, which are faster, and they're 5 laps fresher. So you could possibly still see a fight from the Alfa Romeo to Ginger in the Mercedes, as Feta and Ritzy could possibly still fight it out for P1. Actually, they're going to fight it out directly for P1, as Ritzy actually yields position going into Mackens and Beckett's, and Feta is up into P1 provisionally. Ritzy actually gets a 3-second time penalty. Feta goes a little bit wide, but he's going to have the DRS now. Ritzy will, and the Alfa Romeo down the hangar straight. but he will not be close enough into Stowe to go and challenge the racing point for P1 again. So that 3 seconds is going to be applied to the end of his race time. So right now, Feta just needs to stay on the track, avoid penalties, and stay within 3 seconds of Ritzy if he does get past, and he will be the winner of the British Grand Prix.
Skeppy is also making a move on Smoking Ginger, not wasting no time on those first soft compound tires. Getting rid of Smoking Ginger, who's on 5 laps of mediums. So good job, Skeppy, moving up to P8. Now he's after the 2 McLarens and 2 Red Bulls, along with Sweller Stream, who's the sole AlphaTauri right now.
I think Skeppy could actually get a great finish here.
Top 5.
Because look at him.
I can see him getting top 5 easy.
He's about 5.5 seconds back from Sweller, who is in a train with Zeno, Bobina, Zanav, and Furcho. That's all the way up to P3.
Right.
So if those softs can actually grab that pace advantage in which they are supposed to do, and he can stay up there long enough, we could possibly see Skeppy on the podium. It's going to be difficult, but it's possible.
It's going to be possible going 10 laps on those softs, especially around Silverstone. Silverstone is not really keen to having soft compound runners on like that around here long enough. But we're going to see how Skeppy plays his cars and plays his tires right. Can he manage that ERS to keep ahead of him if he does get to him? We'll have to see.
Well, that's the thing. You can get to someone, but can you pass him?
Especially with no DRS. Well, only
Especially
DRS
that too.
Yeah, well, only DRS to like depend on. Having ERS will be a really game-breaking around this track, especially with all these straights.
We've already seen that the DRS is already not going to be a guaranteed victory. Oh, that's a spin going
Somebody
through.
Spin?
Is that Ritz? That's Ritzy.
Oh no, it's Ritzy. Ritzy is falling back into the Red Bull's clutches. So Feta has
with that 3 second
really
time penalty, that's actually going to hurt. Ooh. This race has been wide open. Skeppy grabs the fastest lap at 27.021 for the Alfa Romeo. So one Alfa Romeo
Feta
has
just had a little bit of
podium.
upset too.
Yeah, he did. He lost a couple tenths of a second on Ritzy. So Ritzy now is going to be pushing to try to stay out of the reach of Furcho. 1.1 seconds is the gap between the Alfa Romeo and the Red Bull. But Furcho is still, once again, not too safe either. He has Zanav right behind him and his teammate. And Bobina is not too far behind him, with his teammate Zeno not too far behind him. And Sweller is still peeking on the door. Skeppy's about 4.5 seconds back, so he's gained about a second that lap on the train in front. So this Alfa Romeo is now going to be a sandwich of not only the Red Bulls, McLaren, and AlphaTauri, but he could possibly go and try to catch Ritzy as well.
He can actually help out Ritzy if he could get up there, to be honest, because Ritzy can still keep the points. He can still fight. But I don't think he won't be able to fight that much with that 3 second time penalty. So Skeppy being up there with him, they both have time penalties, yes, but they can help each other and try to get away. They try to fight these 2 McLarens and these 2 Red Bulls instead of being solo like Sweller is.
Well, you kind of chuckled at whenever I said the DRS train Grand Prix. What would you call the gap between 2nd and 7th?
A snake.
Did you say that as a DRS
snake.
train? A snake.
That's a snake. That's a blue and orange snake.
I don't think trains have multiple different functionalities, so we'll go with a snake for now.
Hey, I'm saying that's a snake because there's a blue and orange body with a dark blue tail, a red head, and a pink tongue in front. That's why I'm saying that's a snake.
Creativity. Well, the British Grand Prix snake, as it will. We'll have a. We'll go talk to the drivers after the Grand Prix and see how their enjoyment of the snake is. Looking at the tires right now, the only driver who's actually really made a real advantage of those soft compound tires is actually Skeppy. As you see, Tizonic all the way down to 15th, and Fazetas is actually still down to where they came out. Yeah, I know. Tizonic's all the way down to Fazetas in 15th.
I was about to say, you said Tizonic's in 15th, but I was like, huh?
I have the reverse version of dyslexia. I have where everything is switched upside down.
Well,
I see one thing and it's the opposite of the other.
All right, people. We got 7 laps to go. Chat, Give us your predictions. There's 34 of you, and it's really quiet in that chat. Come on, let's hear some noise for these guys. They're trying to put on the show for you. Come on. Where's the Tier 2 hype?
Let's have a little bit of fun here. Let's predict here. We'll give you 2 predictions to play with. It'll get the chat a little popping, if you will. Go put down in the chat. Go comment who do you think is going to be on the podium. Will it be Feta, Ritzy, Fercho as it stands, or will there be a glaring face? Maybe Bobina grabs another podium, a 3rd in a row for the McLaren. Maybe Zanav on his debut grabs a podium position in P4 at the moment, only 5/10 adrift from his teammate. And also, while you're down there, comment who do you think is going to get the fastest lap? Right now, Skeppy has it, with a 27.0. Will we see someone pit late race who's out of the points to try to go steal that fastest lap on a set of soft compound tire? We'll have to see. Still about 7 laps to go.
I actually have a 3rd poll y'all can do. Which team is actually going to benefit from this British Grand Prix? Because right now, you see 2 Red Bulls, 2 McLarens, 2 Alfa Romeos that can all fight for a top 5 position.
That's true.
So,
and all of this, actually, I just realized something. 27 points is the gap between McLaren and Racing Point. So if Ritzy does have his 3-second time penalty applied, and right now let's go look at that gap, because if it would be applied now, Ritzy will finish about 6.3, which will put him behind Zeno. He would be in P6, meaning I think Racing Point may actually gain a significant amount on Alfa Romeo here. We could possibly have a constructors fight halfway through the season.
Oh, I already predicted a constructor fight because these guys are really feisty, especially when things don't go their way. So they love to fight. Bro, Red Bull, McLaren, Alfa Romeo, and Racing Point are really going to be fighting for that constructors championship. And I'm already loving the team of McLaren. And I'm loving this new addition to Red Bull. So Nav is already proving himself to be a solid teammate for TRT Virgil. And with Ritzy having the 3-second time penalty, and these McLarens are not able to get past neither of these Red Bulls, we could see a Red Bull 2-3 right here in Silverstone, as the Nav's debut race will be a podium for his team.
Well, that is going to be quite the scene indeed if it does occur, but it's still about 6, maybe about 5.5 laps still remaining here in Silverstone. Still plenty of time, plenty of track limits to be had and abused if you wish, and grab a 3-second time penalty applied to your race time. That could change anything. With a 3-second time penalty to Fercho, that could change anything. A 3-second time penalty to Bobina, that could change anything. Even Feta with a 3-second time penalty, maybe even could change things as well. You never know here in Britain. There's still quite a significant amount of time left to go. 2/10. This is the closest Zanav's been all day, pretty much, since Fercho grabbed P3 from him. Could we possibly see a challenge down into the Brooklands, into Luffield? Could we possibly see a Red Bull fight like Mercedes did in 2019 with Bottas and with Hamilton?
Well, speaking of fights, I'm already seeing the fight for the last point position between Unsighted Point and Ichigo. We haven't given them that much screen time, but Ichigo has been able to get past Tizonic. So now him and Unsighted are pulling away and fighting for the last points position spot. What happened to Shamrock? Shamrock has not had a good start. From start to finish, well, start to this point of the race, Shamrock has not really benefited from any of this pace. I don't think Silverstone's probably going to be his kind of race. He probably wants to forget about this race, like Bottas and I forgot what race that was. Bottas and
Turkey.
Yeah, Turkey.
Where he spun 6 times.
Yeah, but mine's the spinning. Shamrock has not really been there, man. So I think.
Well, speaking of not being there, here we are side by side through Stowe.
Oh.
The Rebels are going to fight at it.
Ricardo and Verstappen side by side.
Right on the outside of
Space
Vale
is
into
respected.
Club, side by side again. Here comes the McLaren of Bobina, still side by side through 18. Now going to Abbey. They're going to go side by side in the Red Bull camp. Oh!
Helmut Marko must have been ripping out his hair, but he can put that hair right back in the skull as a Nav has moved over to P3. Oh my God! And Fercho has spun it. He has made contact with Bobina, and Fercho has lost it. Zeno spun around too.
This is really kicked off. Skeppy's now into 7th. I'm sorry. Fercho has a little bit of damage, I think. See a little bit of collision there. Sweller benefited and part of the seas like Moses. He's out into 5th. Bobina into 4th. Zanav into to 3rd. Now Bobina is going to try to go fight for this podium place. Could we possibly see a time penalty applied at the end of the race via stewards? This time for Zanav again, like it was earlier for unsighted. Could we possibly see another report grooming? At the moment, it's still P3 for the Red Bull driver and P4 for the McLaren as they try to chase down Ritzy, who's actually gained about 5/10 on Feta up in front with about 3.5 laps to go.
Oh man, the latter stages of this race and things are just popping off. Guys want this podium position. They can see Ritzy having that 3-second time penalty, so they're going to be fighting tooth and nail for this last hot spot. Feta is still up with his redemption race. He is 2.4 seconds away from Ritzy Raccoon, who is trying to pull away, making the 3-second gap, but right now is 2.6, 2.7, around that time from Zanav. So, can Ritzy pull a 3-second gap between P3 and P4 before the end of this race? He has 3 laps to go to do it.
Right now, that's gonna be the big fight to look at. So if 3 seconds will be applied at the end of Ritzy's race time, that'll be 5.4 seconds. That'll put him narrowly in front of the McLaren of Bobina in P3. So, as Bobina is actually going to be on the button on the DRS straight. Here goes to the left-hand side, going into Brooklands for the move for the podium positions. They'll make it 3 in the row for the McLaren driver. He's up into P3, trying to go chase after the Alfa Romeo of Ritzy Raccoon. Right now, he has about 3 seconds exactly to go try to get P2.
Speaking of Bobina moving up into P3, Bobina has gotten purple first sector. So he is on the flyer to try to go chase after P2. Bobina's looking really strong. He has been on the hot streak lately, getting consistent, strong finishes for McLaren ever since he's joined that team. And now he's looking like the true Lando Norris of the team and making a strong drive again to look for another podium for McLaren.
Well,
Helmut Marko's tearing up his hair.
Still trying to look for it. Yes, he is. Helmut Marko is probably not enjoying this at all.
His team had a 2 and 3 in their sights. No penalties for either of them. No penalties for none of the Red Bull drivers. But you gotta have Red Bull just aching at the incident that just happened. Letting Bobina by, TRT Virtual spinning. But still, they're still in top 10. They can still salvage whatever they can out of this. But at 2 and 3, it kind of slipped out of their hands for now.
Well, it looked like it was such a promising race for Red Bull. Like you said, it would have been a 2-3 if they could have carried it all the way to the end of the Grand Prix. But right now, a 4-6 would not be a bad finish indeed for Red Bull. They needed to grab some solid points. So far this Grand Prix, they've showed they've had the pace, they've had the chances. They just need to go and execute. They can go check next time by at next week's race at Hungary to go see if they're going to get a redemption race. As we go with 1.5 laps to go, there's still enough time. 2.8 seconds. That's the gap between Bobina and Ritzy. That's the gap for P2 at the moment, because with that 3-second time penalty, that is going to be applied to Ritzy's time. It'll put him P3. So if Zanav can actually get closer to the back of Bobina, Bobina can gain on Ritzy, we could possibly have a great finish for a podium position here.
Yeah, but I don't think Zanav is going to want to sit behind Bobina too long. He already pulled the move on his teammate. Who knows what Zanav will try to pull on the McLaren. So we will have to see if Zanav's going to be a strong-willed driver who's going to be like, no, let me get this point. It is my debut race. I want to show everybody what I am capable of, who I am. My name is SRX Zanav. I am here. Tier 2. Watch out.
Well, speaking of Tier 2, we are now on the final lap of the Grand Prix here at Silverstone. 1.9 seconds. That's the gap between Feta and Ritzy. 2.7 is the gap between Bobina and Ritzy. So that's going to be a great time to look at the left side of your screen. Right now, we're going to watch and monitor that throughout the rest of the Grand Prix. Zanav is only 0.6 of a second behind Bobina. Is that going to be close enough? There's about half a track left to go. 18 corners we're now going through into Woodcut. Turn 5 now into run down to Cops. It's going to be enough time for someone else to try to go and grab that podium position. Is it enough time for Bobina to stay ahead of Ritzy for P3?
We'll have to see. That gap is 2.7, and Zanav really has to close up to Bobina if he wants to get that last podium position. Right now, it's looking like he's just outside of it, but Zanav has only 2 straights left to go. Can he do it? let's go on to our P1. He comes
the
around.
last time ago, he was on P2. He made mistakes, but this time there is no mistakes for the man in pink. It's
He
redemption
crosses the
day
line.
for Feta.
Feta Cheese wins Silverstone.
Bobina grabs the fastest lap and P2 from Ritzy. Ritzy will grab P3 once again, stripped away from victory. Cannot have it. Why, Ritzy? Why? P4 for Zanav on his debut. Sweller in P5. Vircho P6. Great day for Red Bull. Skeppy grabs some points in P7. And that is P8 for Ginger. That is a 20-second time penalty applied to Unsighted for gaining a place. Whoa, that's a big penalty indeed. Ginger is P8. Zeno recovers P9. Tazana grabs the final points paying position with DXT in 11th, right behind him.
I didn't even see Unsighted gain the position off track. But BRL Skeppy is going to be driver of the day.
And that is definitely deserved indeed.
Very deserved.
We had great qualifying effort. Just unfortunately wasn't to the unfortunate circumstance of the lapped car. I'm sorry, the AI car of Zeno going through into Vega. He started 14th, finishes 7th. A great day now for Romeo Skeppy, and a great day indeed for Feta.
You know, I thought Silverstone was going to be a snooze fest. No, it wasn't. These guys actually delivered. Good job,
You're
guys.
lucky I didn't make you bet on that.
Oh, please.
Well, we've had plenty of Grand Prix victors here today. We've had in Bahrain, we've had Sync Kizuato. In races, we had Taylor and Sack. Now, Luis, who won 3 out of the 4 races he's participated in. And now we've had Zeno at Baku. And we had, finally, Feta wins here at Silverstone. And obviously, we had Unsighted a week ago. The new race winners are heating up here in Tier 2 with Feta grabbing the victory here at Silverstone. Bobina P2, Ritzy once again, oh so close. He gets another podium. Zanav in his debut, he grabs P4. Great day for Red Bull. Alpha Tauri Sweller, he grabs P5. He started P5, he finishes P5. Vircho, like you said, it was so close. It was going to be a 2-3 for Red Bull if it could have held on. They just couldn't hold on enough. Vircho P6, Skeppy P7 from 14th in the grid. He starts at a great finish today. P8, 9, and 10. Finishes for the rest of the drivers on the grid here in Tier 2 for Silverstone.
He got cut off because the time ran out, but Ginger to Zoning and but we got our drivers here in the party right now. I'm going to go ahead and start with our driver of the day, who is well-deserved after so many races, not going his way, getting caught into unnecessary drama. But Skeppy, you have finally got driver of the day, well-deserved, you drove strong. You showed us medium to soft can actually go the distance.
Thanks. Yeah, it was rough. That was a rough race, very rough. And sweaty, hands hurt, but it was the race. My race would have at least been different if Zeno's AI decided not to park on the apex, but you know, shit happens, and with a good result, hopefully it moves forward to the rest of the season. So hopefully things go up from here. It's all good tracks. Hungary's like my best, so looking forward to a good showing there.
Well, we're looking forward to more good showings from you, especially after the rough start to the season you have had. This is well deserved for you and Alfa Romeo. You have done your team well. You have done your team proud, and a good comeback for you. Good job, BRL Skeppy. Now, on to P3. Another Alfa Romeo who has struggled, but he had that win in the sights, but got that 3-second time penalty. Ritzy, tell us about your race.
Well, I think my race shouldn't really be defined by my penalty. Like, I got it because of just me being stupid, but it was still an enjoyable battle. I really loved battling with Feta, who, great job by the way, and no, but I think what my race should be characterized by is that one mistake I made into the final sequence of corners that I was trying to send a fake dive on because I knew it worked in realistic, so I went for it, but I decided way too late and just tapped the back of his car and spun. But yeah, anyway, it was still a very, very enjoyable race. So, not complaining.
Indeed, your race.
What?
Hold up.
You go for a dive, the car goes defensive, and
Hey,
I
commentators.
might get
Come on
overtake
now.
of the week with
Hey, commentators are doing the interview right now,
Hey,
guys.
Feta, I know this is your first win and all, but you know we have synced with some plans here.
We have
rules.
Yeah,
have a
Feta.
rule
Sit down,
here,
wait your turn.
dude.
Hey, oi, order in the court. Don't make me get my malice out.
Go get it. Smack Feta with it.
All right, Ritzy. And, of course, your drive is not characterized by your 3-second time penalty. You still drove strong. You're still able to keep your podium. So you have also done Alfa Romeo proud today. Congrats to you. Bobina, you had a rush. A McLaren, Red Bull, and the Alfa Romeo along with the AlphaTauri around you. How did you pull out a P2 of all that chaos, of all that snake chaos? Mind you. Tell us about your P2.
For the race, it's just a matter of keeping your rest and managing it, or being able to keep it up. Yeah, that's about it. And the overtakes, they weren't the best. Sorry for Cho, because, like, you know, I was a bit impatient, and then, yeah.
Small statement and simple, but not simple on the track, as he's able to outwit everyone around him and come out ahead in P2. Congratulations, Bobina. And now for the man of the hour, the man of the race, the redemption race for Feta Cheese. Tell us about your P1, my guy.
Well, thank you, but it's kind of just bittersweet. I gave it all that race. Finally didn't make any mistakes. I felt like that was a very, very perfect race. In qualifying though, I did bottle my run, and I could have gone to .0, but things don't always go my way. But in the race, obviously, I capitalized on that, and I was keeping up with Ritzy in the first, and obviously, I think I could have done more. I was just gonna harvest my ERS and try to pass him and overcut him, but obviously that didn't work. And I saw he was pulling in like the first laps of the medium stint, so I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna give it if I'm gonna win this race, I gotta pass him now, because he's gonna be flying in the end of the stint there. So I did, and he tried to pass me again through the next 2 laps, and yeah, I don't know what happened to that collision. Yeah, he said that he was bombing, but I didn't have enough time to react. I was like, wow, he's there, and I just saw my rear view mirror and he spun. So very unfortunate for him, but yeah, I drove a very, very consistent race overall. He was pulling a lot though. He pulled like what, 3 seconds the final 7 laps or something like that, and I was giving it all. So props to him for keeping up. Well, sorry, gaining on me. Yeah, overall really happy about this win.
Very indeed. You should be happy, especially after this being a redemption race for you, man. You have been on the unfortunate side these past few races, but finally able to get a P1. Will we see this as a start of the uprising of Feta Cheese from Tier 2?
Alrighty. Well, once again, a great race on track for the Tier 2 Championship. Congrats to our podium sitters, Feta, Ritzy, and Bobina, all getting their podium. That is the 3rd consecutive for Bobina. It is another consecutive podium for Ritzy, and the first win in Tier 2 for Feta. Not the first in BRL. He had a couple in the Tier 3 Championship before he was moved up, but he has finally gotten the ball here at Silverstone. And by the way, a little disclaimer, the term DRS snake has now been patented to
my
the championship, so you can shush about that in the future. All right, anyway, for like I said, for myself and Echo up here in the booth, that is it for everyone else in the Tier 2 Championship on track, but we're not done yet. In about 30 minutes time, we have the Tier 1 Championship and their race around the British Grand Prix for round 9. You can see the likes of Hoop, of Chandler, of Prandi, of Formula, etc. Go look at them and see what they can do around the Silverstone circuit, and the one that is putting on so many great races, including this one today. But we're also not done with that. We have a race on Monday at 7 and 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively, for Tier 5 and Tier 6. Be sure to check into those two Grand Prix as we see those drivers go take on the circuit of Silverstone. But like I said, for myself, Hey Catcher, and Echo up here in the booth, that is pretty much going to be it for us here in Tier 2. Sayonara.
Peace.